Well, heck, if you wanna play games here, I'm working with you on this thing here. But okay, I'll do a damn lap count.
Sir, right now?
Yeah, right now. You're darn tootin' if it's so damn important to you.
Well, I'm sorry, sir.
What the Christ? Recording. And let's go. It's episode 31 of the Burning Ewok podcast. I am your irreverent host, Justin Grenzen.
And
with
I'm
me as
Chuck
always.
Fisher.
And with me also is...
Dan.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And the man.
So, first thing, kick us off. Dan, you made a comment a few days ago. You said you were something to the effect of you're coming in hot this week. Like, what's going on? What are you thinking about?
Oh, man. I can't even remember that.
Oh, I thought you had like a whole thing going on. Okay.
No, I think I was just kind of like off the rails in general. But yeah, I don't know. I'll see if I can jar my brain if there was something.
That's okay. Yeah, just get fiery if you need to get fiery. Let's just do it. I gotta, you know what? And one thing, Chuck, you and I were talking before that we started recording this, and one of the things I should have made sure that you did, that I'm bringing up first and foremost in this podcast, is the Superman trailer.
Yep, already watched it.
Awesome. Okay, you watch it, Dan?
I did. I think I brought it up to you first today.
Yeah, I already watched it this morning before I brought it up.
Yeah.
I was the first to watch it. I'm the coolest.
Hey, is the music from the original?
Yeah,
like
that's John Williams.
I thought so. I was
that's
like,
John
man.
Williams' score right there.
Like,
Well, it's not a score.
Awesome.
That is his theme. And
Right.
okay, I am not a Superman guy, and that trailer was freaking awesome. That is what I want. I want Crypto the dog. I want Hawkgirl. I want all of it. Bring me all of it. I think James Gunn is going to nail this so hard. That is my prediction.
Yeah, finally, Nathan Fillion.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion getting a good spot in there and everything. I love this thing to no end. It was like one of the coolest trailers I've seen in a while.
Well, man, I was so surprised too by who's playing. What's his name? Is the bad guy?
Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Oh shit.
Who is it? What else has he been in? What do I know him from?
Like a lot of like tween movies and
Yeah,
shows.
that's why I don't know him.
Isn't he also he plays the blue guy in Avengers? Not Avengers, X-Men. In
Beast?
Yes, he plays the Beast when they go back in time.
Oh, he's the young. Okay, so he's like not the Kelsey Grammer Beast. He is the Days of Future Past Beast.
Yes.
Or First Class.
He was also in that Facebook movie.
Oh, he's pretty good in that. So okay,
he's
that's what it is.
He's a damn good actor.
Okay.
But man, when I saw him as Lex Luthor, I was like, who? I could not for the life of me figure it out. I was like,
yeah, I mean,
cool.
I just,
and he's in Zombieland. Isn't he in Zombieland too?
Are you thinking of Jesse? What's his name from?
Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg.
He's not in this one, dude. Which Superman trailer did you watch? He is the Lex Luthor in the Snyderverse ones.
Oh my god, you're so funny, dude.
No.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Damn it, son of a gun! I'm an idiot.
Yeah, that's Jesse Eisenberg. I was like, hey,
I like that guy.
Yeah, he's fine, but
I never watched any of those movies though.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway, I think I'm there opening night for this movie. I am totally in, and I just think James Gunn is like the perfect guy to do this kind of stuff, because he's the guy that took Guardians of the Galaxy and you thought they're really going to make a movie with like a tree and a raccoon as superheroes and like make it work. And they're like two of the most beloved characters in the last like 20 years of film. So it's just like, he is going to make Crypto amazing. And it's like, if you would have told me that there's going to be a Superman movie with Crypto, I would have thought that's stupid. Like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to pull that off? And I just like seeing how they did that. I'm like, yeah, that's it right there. So he's got the vision. The costume looked great. Lois Lane is played by the girl who plays Miss Maisel. She's great, and if you've ever seen Marvelous
she's
Miss
amazing,
Maisel, she's so. I'm excited about that. I was like, man, I just really want to see that movie now. Please be good. I think it will be. I think it will be. I mean, the guy who played that corn sweat guy that's playing Superman looks perfect.
I don't think you can. I mean, it can't be any worse than what they've already done. It's got to be better, right?
No, I think it's gonna be. I mean, it'll be hard to compare with the old Christopher Reeve stuff because it kind of sits on its own in its own thing, and then I don't think you really compare it with those. I think it would be you compare with like Man of Steel or the Brandon Ruth one and that kind of stuff. But yeah, that was cool. Okay, so I'm glad you guys saw that. So what else going on?
Well,
Skeleton Crew, man. Do we just dive into some Skeleton Crew? Let's do it.
Going for it.
We can
want to talk
right in.
Okay. Well, you want to talk a little Rivals first, or we save that to the end?
Sure. Let's talk about
I guess I could really quickly give you guys an update on Diablo because
it's the Diablo update because
so really quick. They came out with this thing where you're supposed to like hunt down treasure goblins, and like I jumped on and I was playing around and I could not find them for the life of me, but I finally figured it out. So there's like a lower on the map on the right side of the map. There's like there's an area called
Southeast for you geography majors.
For like Nahatu is the name of it or something like that.
Okay.
And if you go there and you just run around in that area, they just start popping up like crazy. I did try other areas and I saw one or two, but they just didn't pop up as often. And like I think I was able to get like, because what'll happen is you'll find one, and as soon as you attack it, it spawns a second one.
Mm-hmm.
And then they both run off, and so you go after the original one because the second one will just hang out until you come back to it.
Okay.
I mean, as long as you can do it quickly enough. And then the drops are pretty decent, but a lot of people said that they were doing like nightmare dungeons, and because if you hit one of those spires, like the gold enchanted spire, they'll also spawn then. But I played a couple nightmare dungeons. I didn't see a single one. So I just stuck
the elixirs that spawn more.
Yeah, I was using the little ball things that you get, and the elixirs. Like I was using them in tandem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I'm out of the gold. At some point, it just doesn't give you the gold ones anymore. You know what I mean?
Imagine in the real world if there was a drink you could have that would make the world around you spawn more goblins.
Well, gold. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I would just like it if I just walked around and smacked pots and gold flew out of it too.
Hey guys, is it coffee the elixir that brings people riches? Because like the whole world runs on coffee.
I'm not a coffee drinker.
Yeah, me neither. But a lot of people are. Dan is. Dan likes the Colombian coffee.
I like the frozen frappuccino-y things.
Yeah, too many calories.
That's the problem. I don't drink.
Dan enjoys civet coffee.
Oh, I did have
his favorite.
I'm a $10 for the giant thing of Folgers Classic kind of.
Yeah, there you go. There's no better way to start your day.
What about Senka?
Or whatever they're
flavor crystals.
Senka.
Picking up, buddy.
Flavor crystals.
All right.
Actually, all right. Hey, quick note. You make a simple syrup with a little bit of Senka in there, and you get a really nice coffee syrup that you can put into your drinks. True story.
Is that a life hack, Chuck?
It is not really. I learned it on the internet.
Then it's a life hack for sure.
So Dan, tell us about that superhero game you're playing, man.
Yeah, Dan and I actually played today.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I saw you guys.
Yeah.
We did. So remember how we were talking last week about it, and I was like, yeah, it feels a lot like the difference between Unreal Engine and, Unreal and Quake. And I actually paid attention when I loaded up the game. It's the Unreal Engine. It makes total sense now. And has a lot of the same things that I fucking hate about Unreal in it. Like getting stuck on every single freaking corridor because
Yeah, that'll happen.
Unreal Engine, in my experience, and this could be total bullshit, but the way it always felt was that the hitboxes on your shoulders and your feet always got stuck on edges and corners of walls and terrain that is placed on the map. And I totally feel like that today. So that is the way I feel about it. But I had tons of fun. I will say the character I hate the most is freaking Scarlet Witch. Is the worst. It is so overpowered. Like I finally ran into somebody who played her well, and she absolutely wiped our whole team. I think she had like 40 fucking kills in like 3 minutes. She wiped us all off the map.
It's amazing.
Over and over again.
So it's some balancing. It needs some balancing.
It's close to the lore of the universe.
Totally. So it was whatever the team up that she has with Doctor Strange. Like you could not take either of them down. I mean,
it's like, when you do the team ups, it gets crazy. So yeah. I don't know if I was pissing some guy off or if he was liking it, but I was Rocket and he was Groot. I just kept jumping on his shoulder. And I don't know like how I would end up off. Like I don't know if a certain amount of time you just fall off or if he like can throw you off. But but we weren't dying. We never died when I was on his shoulder. Like we had so much health. But it didn't feel like I was hitting guys as hard as I normally was. So I don't know if there's a trade-off there, but yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
So like I figure out the team up stuff is kind of cool. I don't know what to say about like the hitbox stuff and all like the getting caught on things because like the characters all act so different. So like if you're Rocket, you'll just like climb on everything. You can like climb the walls. Spider-Man can climb the walls and do all that stuff. And some of the other characters just don't jump as high and they get annoying because you get stuck on a little rock. So there's that, yeah. But I'm like level 12, I think. I like it. I still like it. I'll play around with it. It's free.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's fun. I mean, overall, it's been a really positive experience. And I like it. I don't know how long I'll stick with it, but
yeah, it'll be a little bit, and then I'll find something else.
Yeah. No, that's good. Good times. I really wanted to try the new Indiana Jones game, but I didn't get a chance to. I've been too busy binging all kinds of shit, watching all kinds of movies, or TV shows, not movies. So, do you guys want to go into Rivals now, or can I fill you in on the
no,
stuff?
No, we're done with Rivals. Let's talk about what you else have been
watching. Sorry, Skeleton Crew.
Let's talk Skeleton Crew.
We can talk Skeleton Crew. Let's do it.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about Skeleton Crew, Episode 4. I ain't ever heard of no Atten.
So, I gotta say, as soon as I heard him say that and knowing that he was there, you knew that, it's kind of like a one-eyed Willie thing, right? Where Captain killed everybody to keep everybody from getting there and made the droid not be able to tell anybody. So, that I think that was a pretty foreseeable thing, right? I don't think that should have surprised anybody, right?
Couple thoughts.
I didn't really see it coming as much.
Well,
but yeah,
they did plant it in the first episode. They planted that seed of reprogramming the droid to lie for you. They did plant that seed.
Yep.
What we're talking about is the last 5 minutes of the episode, so expect spoilers. What if the captain is on at Atten still, or not on at Atten, but is the reason of the state of that planet it's in right now?
That it's still there?
Well, like he ended up crashing there. He killed everybody on there and, reprogrammed that droid, left the ship buried, started whatever government is there happening. No
way. No, the captain's dead. I think it was the dude that had the sword stuck in him.
Possible.
I think that was the captain.
I just don't know if they ever said it just made me think what happened to the captain. We didn't get any clear resolution or heard the story of it.
I think Smee says in the first episode that the old captain's dead. So I guess you're the
No. The girl says
the girl said, "I killed the captain.
Yeah,
now I'm
Finn,
the captain."
Is it her name?
Okay.
Finn or Phineas?
Fern.
Yeah.
She says, "I killed your captain," and he goes, "I doubt it." And she goes, "Well, I'm here, and he's not." So
Yeah.
he's like, "Okay."
Yeah,
Just a little passing thought. I still like the droids are running the planet theory better. And the good
I
work
totally agree with that, 100%.
I think it's an AI, man. It's the first real AI.
Maybe. But okay, so the one thing that couple of things I noticed, because I just watched all 4 episodes again with my daughter, and one of the things was when he was like flipping through the book of like the knights, like the Jedi.
Yeah.
All the graphics in that seem to be like Knights of the Old Republic era stuff. Now I could be wrong, but to me that's what it looked like. And then they refer to everything as the Old Republic. The Old Republic. Like the when they talk about the credits, a mint condition Old Republic credit, like that's seriously what where did you find this? Where did you get this? Like everybody's like, So I don't know. I feel like they've been on that planet, living that life for a long time.
Generations.
A real long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, possibly 1,000 years or more. Because they are the gems of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
The jewels or whatever. Yeah. So they have something to do with banking. Like maybe they were like, because they're all analyzing stuff. Not sure what the heck they'd be analyzing.
It's a great work. It's like some kind of forced utopia, right?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't get
for sure.
We didn't get anything back on the home planet this last episode, did we? Everything was kind of like it was all on the other one of the other planets that they found.
Akron.
Yes, that's it.
Ed Akron, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let's talk about Ed Akron. So it reminded me of like the Fallout version of Atten.
Yeah, totally.
I'm like, this is like everything dystopian version of where they were at. Pretty cool. I like that it was a self-contained episodic. Kind of like, hey, it's a 1-episode adventure. Here we're on this planet. Next episode we go to a different. That was pretty cool. I loved the girl who finds them and her unnecessary acrobatics throughout, whether it was like just a cool slide, a cool flip randomly for no reason.
They weren't Jurassic Park 2 Lost World like level though. Like
they were started on that.
They didn't make me go, well, that's stupid. Like I thought it was cool. I was like, oh, she's cool.
Fun. It was fun.
When she leaves, like she's starting to walk her own, but she starts running and she does a flip over the rock.
Yeah, exactly. Like it almost felt like I was watching like Hot Fuzz, where he's like hopping over the fences and then leaps and does the flip.
You guys are missing the point that she's a child in a war, and there was like every opportunity she had to like be a kid. Every once in a while would pop out, she was on her own. She was,
Well, it reminded me of the first episode where Wim goes to get his little hover bike and he opens up the garage and rolls underneath the door. Doesn't need to, but rolls anyway, If you've noticed, whenever they come around the corner in the ship when they're running, they always slide a little bit.
Yep.
And they kind of all do it in sync also, and it's a nice touch. So, I think that's what it was mimicking, or kind of playing in that part of that whole silliness.
Okay.
Captain Jack, when they land on Ed Akron, and he says, ashy and ashy, something about the ashy dust or something, like his homeworld, like where he's from. So I watched some other podcasts about it, and they were talking about apparently there's some story somewhere along the lines where, like, on Mustafar, the Emperor had children, possibly, like his own younglings or something.
Rey Skywalker, duh.
Yeah, but that was his child.
That was his grandchild.
Right. I'm talking about like I thought there was some story where he would like find force sensitive kids or something, or he would
like
somehow.
somewhere in the lore, like maybe like in the
Yeah.
Palpatine book or the Plagueis book,
Something
that
like
there's
that.
something where they're doing. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's part
And
of the
that
lore I don't
maybe
really know.
he's just an escapee, or after Vader died or whatever. I don't know. How long after?
Well, I think his age
it?
would line up of him being a Padawan, and when Order
Yeah, that makes
66
more
happens,
sense to me actually.
he is estranged and just kind of runs off and goes into hiding. That seems to make the
Yeah,
most
becomes
sense.
a pirate. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
I did like the part where he does land on the planet and then he gets surrounded. He's just kill me.
Yeah.
That was pretty great little touch. That was some good Jude Law right there.
Jude Law is so good. Dang.
Yeah, he's pretty good. But my man Neil, I think I said after the first week, my favorite character Neil, dude knocked it out of the park this week. I think I loved him and his dumb little blue hair, and him just not wanting to fight and just it's stupid. He's just years of wisdom ahead of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's real sweet and nice and heroic also at the same time.
Yeah, he's like he's scared. He doesn't want to, go out onto the battlefield, quote unquote. But then as soon as like his friends need him, he's right there. Like
he's real Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So hopefully he's gonna say potatoes at some point.
That character just is so good, especially this episode, without a doubt.
Yeah, it was just
really
made me smile. It was like
the
whole show is just kind of it's just made me smile. It's really enjoyable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's a good episode, right?
I think Fern too, like admitting she didn't know what she was doing, and she had her moment, where Wynn came up to her and was like, "You're the captain. You've got this," and she was like, "I'm not a droid,"
Yeah.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah, like I said, it's really fast paced. It doesn't and it doesn't skip any of the character development. I think all the characters are getting their fair shakes. I think we still need to get a little bit more KB. That's the one we really haven't seen a lot on. And I think she's like maybe the most interesting of the kids.
She's definitely interesting.
It's the one I just want to know more about because they've given us the least.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
She reminds me of Lobot.
Hey, did you guys ever see that picture of the kid? Like the AI generated pictures of like kids getting Christmas presents and like the parents like holding the wine glasses laughing at the kid's crying and they got something they didn't want and the kid's got a Lobot action figure. He's crying and the parents are like,
dude, shut up. Lobot's cool. Come on.
If you're gonna get a Star Wars figure and you're all excited about it, it's not Lobot or that or like any of like the guards on Cloud City or those dudes. Terrible action figure.
Right.
Yes. I wouldn't mind having a Gamorrean guard from Return of the Jedi.
All right, what's up, Dan? You got something going? I see it brewing.
So let's talk about the series as a whole now, right? So we're halfway through. There's only 4 more episodes.
Yep.
So up till now, all of the episodes have been written by Christopher Ford and John Watts. Those are the 2 writers. The next 2 episodes are the ones that could go off the rails. New writers for the next 2. And then I don't know who Jake Schreier is, but this will be his first, episode 5 will be his first directing. And then Bryce Dallas Howard is directing episode 6.
Well, I'm not worried about Bryce Dallas Howard because she did some of the better Mandalorian
great.
episodes. She's like really well in touch with the Star Wars stuff. I'm not worried about that.
My worry just becomes, everything's been essentially done by the same 3 guys, the 2 writers, and then David Lowery directing most of the first 4. Do we lose focus before it gets reeled back in the final 2 episodes?
Well,
I worry about.
They could, but
I think Watts is the showrunner on this, though, and he oversees everything. So while it may say writing and directing credits and all that for the other people, that could be some SAG stuff that says they got to get on there. But I think it's Watts' show from beginning to end. So I think I think it's in good hands. I don't see it getting that different. Because, I mean, honestly, I mean, with a lot of the shows with, almost every single one of these Disney Plus shows, every single one, like, oh my gosh, every, like, show you watch, whether it's Fargo or something else, you'll have
Mm-hmm.
one director do these 3 episodes, another director does the next two. It's very rare.
It's always
I'm
like
watching
that, yeah.
season 2 of Fargo, and every episode I think is at a different director, you know? So I
No,
think.
season 2 is almost all the same three guys that do the entire thing, and they share. It's like director 1, director 2 on every episode.
But see, the way they film these, I don't know that they can do that.
Oh, they can, because they want to get through them in as fast as possible. So what'll happen is somebody takes the main. They're filming multiple episodes at once.
Yeah. So you have unit 1, you have unit 2, and depending
and
on.
so this guy's going to direct this while they're over here. So and that's going to be all for this episode. While this guy's directing this crew over here, and then and then they got somebody else working the volume, and then whatever else or however else they're doing it.
I don't know about this particular one, but they could be like, so Aladdin could be a soundstage in Toronto, and then the spaceship is a soundstage in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It could be something along those lines. So you're gonna have director 1 and director 2 in different locations, right?
I could see. I mean, okay, but we're seeing something different, and we could see the next 2 episodes be the flashback of what happened to the droid.
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the thing that just kind of worries me, and then it's just kind of weird how it's like I just happen to be looking at the wiki page, and it's like everything is like basically the same writers and directors the first 4 episodes, and then boom, all new directors, all new writers on the credits. So that just kind of worries me. We might go off the rails a little bit the next couple episodes, but bring it right back in with John Watts and Christopher Ford, the last 2.
That makes me feel like we got a 2-episode flashback, or we're gonna get more of the planet back on Ad-Atten and what's going on there, and we're gonna get that whole backstory. Like, there's something that, like, it's like it's gonna be away from the kids. It's not gonna be as kid focused or like that main storyline. And then the last 2 episodes, then. Huh?
I don't think we're getting a flashback on the planet. I think we're getting a flashback of the creation of the Great Works.
Yeah, it could be like it's either that or it's the pirate ship that and the pirate ship crashes on the end of that 2nd episode or something. Whatever.
Yeah, and I think we still need a backstory, a real backstory for Jude Law's character, right?
It could be that. Maybe we're on Mustafar and we've got Sheev Palpatine.
I don't think it goes.
Kids.
It better not go there. If it goes there,
it's not going to go there. I think they've been pretty grounded in saying that, like, no, this is its own thing, and we're not connecting to. They intentionally not connecting to that universe.
See, I don't think it.
I wanted.
Yeah. I don't think it needs any of that stuff. Yeah, I don't think it needs any of the backstory. To be honest, I don't think they need really to tell us more about the parents. The parents aren't getting anywhere. The droids are like, well, we can't really do anything, and they're very frustrated. They could just leave it at that. I think the story could be they go to the next hidden planet and see if they have a tower that they can go check out.
But I mean, it was obvious that the dad knows more. We do need to know.
Yeah, the dad is definitely something.
We need to know Jad Crimson.
No, I think it's whatever awesome his name is. Well, do you know Jack Sparrow's backstory, like where he grew up and stuff? They
talk about it throughout the show. I mean, I don't think you need to have a flashback episode to fill in Jude Law's story. I think he could hey kids, let me level with you and tell the story, and that'd be enough. If we're at a point where we could trust his character, he hasn't. I don't think his character's earned enough trust. Well, maybe it has now because he just saved the kids. He bought them off. He could have left with all the money and, but he did come and get the kids. So, I mean, he's a good guy, So maybe now we do have enough trust that if he does tell his story, we, as the audience as well as the kids, would believe him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think he could just talk about it. I think a backstory of, like you said, Dan, of Ad-Atten and the Great Work. I think that could work. Or, how it got and how it disappeared from the maps and all that. I think that
Yeah,
has
why
to
it
be
was
told.
hidden.
But and it makes sense over the next 2 episodes. Tell that story, and then the last 2 episodes are how the kids get home and without pirates chasing them. You know.
Yeah. Well, I
Oh,
think
there's going to be a confrontation with pirates,
Yeah. Yeah.
without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean,
so.
you're gonna have to have Jude Law and Wolfman fight each other, and there you go.
So here's interesting, and this is from the wiki page, and maybe this is wrong here, but recurring co-stars, right? So recurring to me says when they come back again, we have Kim,
Yeah. Kim's gonna come back. Kim's gonna
Yeah,
come
for
back.
sure. She's a favorite.
and then and then the kid and the leader from at Akron, the general, right? General Strix and Hana.
Hey,
Both
if you're looking at spoilers of who's gonna be there, though, I don't want
no, I'm
that.
just sitting there on the Skeleton Crews wiki page, right? The Wikipedia, right?
All right.
I don't see. I don't.
Recurring co-stars.
Well, here's how they're reoccurring. I mean, they're still technically on at Akron. So before they take off, maybe they say goodbye again. I don't know.
That's true. They're still not on there. They could, those characters could all be at the beginning of the next episode or episode 7 as they're leaving that or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to come back and bring those two warring factions to Eden at the end. I think that's going to be their great work at the end. They're gonna lead those those people
the warring clans to a civilized planet.
Yeah, I do.
No, it wouldn't work.
We're getting the Disney Star Wars.
I know, but it just doesn't. Okay. No, I think they should leave it where he planted the idea of peace, and that should just be the end of it. But
I think they should go back at the end, and there's a giant Neil statue.
Oh yeah, hell yeah!
Neil head is on top of the statue. That's funny.
Old King No Head. Look, good
there you go. Yeah. I like it.
Nice. All right. Do we have anything else to talk about for Skeleton Crew?
I think it's pretty good. Yeah, it was a good episode. I'm looking forward to the next one. Let's see.
I can't wait.
Hopefully, Dan's fears are unfounded next week, and we have another good episode.
Me too, man. And I hope they're good. Good.
Hey,
they're gonna be good.
So,
they're gonna be good. Trust me.
I did get some other TV in. I still haven't watched any Shrinking because I don't have Apple Plus. But I did get to see the finale.
God.
I watched the finale of What We Do in the Shadows, and that show stuck the landing. Highly recommend just burning through that show. Chuck, I know you've watched more than Dan has.
Yeah, Renee doesn't like it, but I'd love to just sit down and watch that show.
It's so dumb. It's so fun. Ends great. It's super silly. Kind of ends how it starts, but then a little bit more. It's good. So that Dan, I'm halfway through season 2 of Fargo.
Nice.
That show's amazing, as I have been saying, and like I said, I'm just gonna slowly enjoy this bad boy. I'm just going to slowly go through these episodes. I am not going to burn through them because I really, really do enjoy it. I don't want to be done with them for another year, honestly. Like, I could slowly go through them and just enjoy. Kind of like what I do with the Expanse novels. I never finished Memories Legion. I've read, the first, 2 or 3 stories out of it, but I'm not going to do it until I go and do another reread. And when I do that reread, hey, Will, how's it going? I'm recording a podcast here. Yeah, just go over there. Yeah. All right. No problem.
Some bubbly there?
Yeah. Yeah, getting ready for New Year's. Right? Is that what that's for? Yeah. All right, cool.
Nice.
Peace out, buddy. I'll be up in a little bit. Anyway, with the Expanse. So it's like I want to go through, and what I'm talking about, Memories Legion is the final book in the Expanse, where it's a bunch of short stories, and each short story kind of takes place or in front of one of the other novels. So I want to read that or listen to that, and then go and read read it all in order as it happens, and mostly because I just don't want it to end. I don't want to be done with the Expanse. So I still have a few like short stories out there that I haven't read.
Can't move on to its new series now. Come on.
Well, I'm already started reading James S. A. Corey's newest book too. So yeah.
Well, let's go back to Fargo real quick because I have questions for you. All right, so season 2, what's your favorite character so far?
You know what? I always like in these stories. I mean, the thing is, everybody. It's definitely Nick Offerman's character as the lawyer. I'm enjoying the hell out of him. Like he is great. And so I'm at the point and like let's put it this way. We watched the episode with the standoff at the police station.
Yeah.
Where he gets pointed, you're the lawyer for the kid now, Yeah. And he goes out. That is fantastic television right there. That whole exchange, the intensity level, how it's like, just perfect level, so good.
You have no idea because of the way the show goes. You have no idea if like, all right, is it going to work or is he going to get his head blown off?
Yeah.
Right.
There are only 2 characters in this show. There are 2 characters in the show that I know survive, and that's it. The rest of everybody else could get killed. So when you know that, the stakes are so high watching a television show, and it's wonderful, especially because you watch the first season and like in the second episode, like all the main cast is killed off instantly.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, where are we going now? Like what happens, And so knowing that anybody can go at any time, like there was the scene with Ted Danson, I thought he was done. And Ted Danson's character pretty good too. I almost said him, but yeah, it's Nick Offerman's character. It's probably my favorite. I like him. He's so boisterous and just silly. But I like the moral center characters in shows like this. So Ted Danson's like wholesomeness, I just really like. I mean Plemons and what's her name? They're so good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean the acting is so good. It's like I like every actor in it. Their characters. I mean, these are bad people doing stupid things, trying to cover it up terribly. That's what, and like how that ball of lies just continues to get worse and just turn into this snowball of destruction. And
wasn't like Jesse Plemons' character bad? I mean, his character's he's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad but he makes bad choices.
Yes.
Yeah, he makes bad choices, and
people making bad choices is really
and that's really how it is for most of the characters of this season that aren't in the crime families.
Like my favorite character is the mom. Of the bad guys, right? Shit, what is her name?
But it's like the way that. She's so good. She's so good, and it's just interesting because, and not to break away from Fargo too much, because I'm watching Penguin right now, and her character is so similar to Sophia's character in a lot of ways, where it's like she's got to prove herself. Yeah, I think so. Where,
you haven't gotten far enough in Penguin.
Well, I'm at the scene without spoiling too much where she puts a bullet in a guy's head at a table and says, "Hey, everybody have some money." You know what scene I'm talking about? I'm that far into it. So, which is about the same point where the mom in Fargo says it's war, where she's proving herself. The other side isn't taking her seriously, and Sophia's had a lot of that going on. So that's where I'm seeing those, and I'm at the same point. I'm at those points in both shows, so that's where I'm seeing those parallels.
Yeah, it's just Sophia's backstory is so messed up.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is terrible. It's terrifying.
You haven't quite gotten through all of it yet either. So
and I only have like the one thing I have with to jump to Penguin real quick is, how does she get out of Arkham? Do they ever explain it? Like why they let her out?
You should have gotten there already.
Well,
yes.
But yeah, they just kind of let her out.
Well, it's because she's like got the whole thing going on with the doctor there, and then the dad kind of gets.
She freaking murders Magpie. She smashes her face into a table, leaves her. She's dead.
It's Gotham, right?
I guess it's Yeah, it's a terrible place where everybody like where the doctors are actually like pitting them against each other too and everything.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's Arkham
yeah,
Asylum. It's a horrible, horrible place. Yeah. Okay.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, I'm giving it to Penguin's freaking amazing. Don't
Mm-hmm.
get me wrong. I'm not like it's really, really good. The
Mm-hmm.
perfect like I just don't know if they're ever going to do another Matt Reeves Batman movie. Like it keeps on getting pushed back. They're like not filming it until I think
Oh,
well into next
Landman
year.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't even think the script is done. They've like been revising it. From last I heard, it was
Mm-hmm.
like 7,000 pages, and they have to cut it back. And it's just like, come on, guys, I, I need more of the. I want to know if that can like, please don't. I think Robert Pattinson said like he may retire doing the Batman trilogy because it might take that long for him to finish the next two.
Well, get through the Penguin first, and then see where you're at, right? Through the ending.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying I want more. I'm totally content with as terrible as DC has been in the past. I'm
Mm-hmm.
totally man. What a weird transition we've gone for. Are we going back to Fargo at all, or are we good on Fargo?
Yeah,
I mean,
because I
yeah.
have one more question for you
Oh,
for about Fargo.
let's go
So,
back to Fargo because I want to get into the whole thing because I want to talk some other DC/MCU stuff. Okay, so
all
Fargo.
right. So, what is your take on the little bit of mysticism that's sprinkled in and throughout the Fargo? So that I think there's a little thing that happens in season one, and there's a big thing that happens the very first episode of season two.
A big thing that happened. Well, I mean, there's the. Are we going to include the Indian or the Native American tracker also, and like how he's seeing things with that mysticism?
I
Or is he
mean
just a
that
damn good tracker? And what mysticism are you talking about? Like where?
the very first episode, which is it's the impetus for the whole freaking thing. When he walks out in the front of the road and there's a big green light and he looks up, and that's why he stops in the middle of the road because there's a freaking spaceship. There's a freaking alien like a UFO. And he looks up, he stops walking to his car, he looks up, and that's when she hits him with the car.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't see it as it being a alien spaceship though. I mean, is that a common thread throughout? Like, just let me know now. I mean, is this a common thread I'm going to be looking for in other seasons?
Not necessarily that, but there are other things that happen.
Okay.
And so there's like a little bit almost like American Horror Story thrown in,
Okay.
to each season. And I want to say in season one, there's something also, I just can't remember what it is. But there's like one weird thing every season where like.
Yeah, no, I absolutely remember that. I remember
it's
that.
not just like UFOs, but sometimes it's like it's the devil or it's an angel or, like something something happens that is completely unexplainable in just enough to like if you aren't paying attention you're gonna miss it like and you'll later in season two there'll be references to that first episode about the whole UFO thing.
Really?
And you pay attention to it because it's not just there and the Indian dude talks about it too.
Okay. Well, I mean, because he was looking kind of like in the same area.
You haven't gotten
when he's holding the parts of the headlight.
You haven't gotten to the motel scene yet.
No.
So when you get to and that's coming soon.
Okay.
When you get there, there'll be more things that happen.
I don't know if I could definitely get to some more this week. Yeah. I'm gonna have some time off.
Chuck, you gotta watch this show.
Yeah, the more I watch it, Chuck, I really think you should just like sit down and watch it. It's great. It's just really good TV, and it's like when you talk about like it like gets you worked up, it's not gonna get you that worked up. It's just good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's it on? What
Hulu?
What's it on?
It's on Hulu.
You know what though? You cannot. You have to watch it through the Hulu app though. You can't watch it through the Disney Plus app.
Right? Yeah. Sure. Okay. Yeah. That's fine.
It's like for whatever reason, some shows you can only watch the. Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. No, it is good. In season 4 is the Chris Rock season. That one's different in many ways, but it also builds all the other seasons up a little better.
Cool.
Including season 2 and season 7. So
Yeah, yeah, we both love it. Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch it tonight though. I think I'm gonna try to figure out a way to. Now I got Will home. I can keep him up late and force him to watch old movies. I want him to see Die Hard, so I think I want to force him to watch Die Hard tonight if I can.
Oh yeah, I've already made my.
Never seen it.
He's not seen it. No.
The kids have seen all the first three, I think.
Yeah,
I've just made him watch the first one.
No, it's like I always bring it up, and Minnie's like, "No, let's watch something else." I'm like, I don't want to watch Benji.
My kids always want to watch like Harry Potter or a Marvel movie. It's like, you guys want to see stuff you've never seen before? No.
Yeah. And it's just like, so it's like Christmas, so I want to bring up the Christmas classics. Die Hard, Gremlins.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Gremlins is great. I made them watch Gremlins. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, before we switch over to your Marvel DC stuff you want to talk about, I did start watching another show on Hulu. No, not on Hulu, on Paramount Plus, Landman, which is the Billy Bob Thornton. It's Taylor Sheridan, the guy who does Yellowstone, right? Yep. It's his new show. Really well done. Billy Bob Thornton's amazing. If you like Yellowstone at all, you'll love this. Got some things in there, like there's some politics in there, but it's interesting how they have like a whole episode about the politics of oil and fossil fuels and whatnot, and then they kind of like the show tries to distance itself from the political discussion, even though it's smack in the middle of it. Basically like, hey, you know what? We just pump the oil. What people do with it's their business. They talk about a lot of like green energy and stuff, and there's some good points in there, but really good, really well done, and I would say. I want to see how the first season ends. I think I like it better than Yellowstone.
So my experience with Yellowstone is, and I'm going to fully admit that I have not watched all the episodes. So, but I find the characters all absolutely despicable, terrible, not anything redeemable, and I also see like them glorified, and I in like trying to like make a Tony Soprano type of thing, where when you watch The Sopranos, any comment of that being a glorified lifestyle is like really misunderstood when you watch that, because they've got these certain. Like, he's a monster. You watch Breaking Bad, it's the entire watching that character go through what he goes through and become more and more and more evil. He's a terrible person. At the end, he is a bad guy, and you may enjoy the character, but you don't necessarily root for the character. You may root for the story to continue, but so I just have this massive disconnect when it's just like terrible because we want to make it cool, and I felt a lot of that with like Sons of Anarchy too, where I'm just like, man, this is just like shit writing, and I just got really frustrated with a lot of those characters. As much as a Ron Perlman fan I am, it was just like even the Doctor in that show was just so. Like, you're smarter than this. Why are you with this group? You should be like the moral compass. It's just like, and I always get that way. Like, I had a really hard time watching Walking Dead after they killed was it Gene? When like it was just like, man, you just killed your moral center of your show. Now where are we going with this? Because it's certainly not Daryl. It's not this, and it just like, so it's just like, I feel like everything, like, who's the guy that kills him with the bat?
Negan.
Like, I feel like everything inside Yellowstone is like, it's all Negans, and it's just like I can't connect. And I'm just wondering if Landman's is like similar to that, or if I'm like off base because I haven't watched enough of it.
Well, I mean, I get your take on Yellowstone, right? And I don't necessarily disagree with it, right? I think the whole idea. I think that also comes back to like Game of Thrones. Right? How is it different from Game of Thrones? At the end of the day, like Tyrion is an awful person. The Hound is an awful person. The Hound is redeemed at the end of Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, there's redemption stories, and there's also like, hey, this is why this person is this way, which I guess is probably in some sort of Yellowstone fashion. It's just like parents are abusive, they're going to do this, they're going to create this monster the same way that they were created, blah 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 blah. You have that, but I mean, Jon Snow is not a terrible character, or a terrible human. Especially when you have like the Flair, ripping people's skin off, and torturing and raping and doing all these different things. The Lannisters are definitely more evil than the Starks for the most part. The Starks have done some bad things, and yes, but not the same. And I guess, and I have a lot of issues with I think that's one of my biggest problems with Game of Thrones is that whole last season and how they deal with that whole morality. It's just like, who cares? It's thrown out, and all of a sudden, Mother Dragons is doing whatever the hell she wants,
Yeah, I think shows like, and I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Yellowstone, right? And I think that there's a couple things there, and I kind of thought you would go this route, and this is kind of why I brought it up.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
you got me. You got me.
For reals, right? Because I think from when you think about politics and media, and I know we're not a political podcast, right? So I'm trying to do this in a way where it's a discussion on not on politics but on points of view. And
I think it's legit. This is a legit discussion.
I think there are multiple ways to do good TV, right? And I think, yes, these shows like Yellowstone, there aren't really any people. There aren't really anybody in Yellowstone in the first 2 seasons anyway that are good people, right? The closest that could come is like the main son's wife. It's kind of a good person until she's not, right? And I think that's kind of like how it goes in that show. And I think it's trying to be more like The Sopranos and something that's more relatable to people that don't live in like fucking New York or Chicago or LA, right? Yep. Which is a good portion of the country, and it's trying to be more relatable. Get a little country, get a little.
I'm fine with that. I think that's like I think that's a strong point. Like from what I've seen, that I think is what probably television needs more of.
What I think it does though is, and I think what I think it's trying to be is that the moral viewpoint of the show is really that there aren't moral, like people are moral in the situation that they're at, but shit just fucking sucks everywhere, and it just like things just keep happening and happening and happening that they can't control, and they're just reacting to it, right? And at some point you got to either say, well, I'm just going to stay here and keep doing what I'm doing, or I'm going to get the hell out of it, right? And,
okay.
That would make good TV if you just got it.
But it's a beautiful segue into the Penguin also.
There you go. Yeah.
So, because there is no redeemable character in this show either so far. So far, where I'm at. You've got Victor, who has had his opportunity to leave, and he doesn't. And he's like all in now, So he had his opportunity. He wants the life. He's decided to stay. Now, things that have happened to Victor. Now, the things that have happened to Victor are terrible. With the events that happened in the Batman, have caused his family to die. But I mean, at the same time, though, I say all this. It's because, hey, we're watching a show about the Penguin. This is a character who is getting developed into what he is to become, a villain who is against Batman, and they don't do anything to really paint Oz as a good person in the slightest. He rewards loyalty, but he will cut anybody at any chance to get ahead. Absolutely. Yep. Like I don't see him like his inability to do anything good is only transactional. Everything he's done that has been good has been transactional. He's not done anything out of the good of his heart.
Which is just an allegory for all of Gotham, right?
Yeah, and like just like how we said earlier, how Arkham Asylum is just absolute terribleness.
Yeah.
Always is. And Batman is this like, dark character in a dark place trying to make it better, So I mean, and this show is Batman-less, and
How many episodes are there in the Penguin?
it's either 8 or 10. I'm like halfway through. I'm like right at
All
the
right.
half.
Do me a favor. When you watch the rest, watch all of it up until the finale. So you watched 5?
Something like that.
Yeah. So don't watch the ending before
What?
we have our next pay camp.
Ah!
Yes.
But we're not going to talk for 2 weeks. I don't know if I can do that, Dan. Maybe we could talk before that and then talk about our discussion. Like, I'll chat you up before I get to the finale.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
So, yeah. So we have to talk, even if we just the two of us get on for like a half hour and talk about it.
All right,
because
fair enough.
I think you're going to change how you view the show.
Uh-huh.
And then it's one of those things where I wish the finale was actually a two-parter, because it could be a two-parter.
Okay.
And it's in a good way. Like, I don't know how you're going to like the last half hour of the series. And I'm curious, but the way you're talking about it, and then the way the next couple episodes go, did you go where they moved the base underground?
Nope.
Did you get it? All right. Okay. So I don't want to spoil too much.
That's okay.
But
no, I am like at the point where literally she takes over, changes the family name to her name, and says, "Who's in with me?" That's where I'm at, and she's at war with Oz now, with the Penguin.
Okay.
So it's
Did the big event in the house happen then? Yeah.
Yeah. They're all dead, except for the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, and it's just like, and she's cleaning up horrible people, and she's the bad guy that's helping the little guy, and her character's great. But I mean, it's just like, this is like a portion in the way I see it where it's different than something. It's just like, I just go and like talk about a show that doesn't have any redeeming qualities about it, but this is a small portion of a universe. And this is what I wanted to get into. It's like, if I have the Matt Reeves Batman universe with this Penguin show and any other thing they want to stick with it, and then I have like the James Gunn DC verse, I can have those two verses going on at the same time, and I'm quite happy with both. Hopefully with the Gun one as well. But so far, like I said, the Reeves Batman's my favorite Batman, hands down. And this, have you watched it, Chuck?
The Batman, I haven't watched the Penguin.
Okay, but you've seen the Batman. Yeah, what'd you think?
Yeah.
Have we gotten your opinion on that? Where do you stand on the most recent Batman?
I loved that. That was I agree with you that it's probably the best Batman. I felt like that's exactly how I felt about that movie, was that, he was a little, I called him emo Batman, but
Sure, that's there. That's fine.
But I liked the darkness of it,
He's a detective again.
There you go. And that's what it is.
About that.
That's what I love about it too. Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. Craven. So it sounds like the Sony Spider-Man verse is gonna just is burnt to the ground, and we're done with this ridiculousness. I mentioned what are you gonna say?
What I was gonna say is, like, so everybody said after that stupid vampire movie, and then after
Madam Web,
and there was like, man, Madam Web is as low as you can go.
Yeah, no, they dug deeper.
This could go down as one of the top 10 movie flops of all time.
So I was before I got on this, I was listening to a 2.5 hour podcast on how bad that movie was.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to like it better because it was so bad. It became like kind of fun bad.
Mm-hmm.
That they liked it better than Morbius. They said Morbius is just like, there's nothing redeeming about that. I've never seen it, and for the first time, I watched Venom. I watched Venom finally. Ian and I sat down and watched that a couple weeks ago. And it was, I didn't really care for it. He thought it was okay. Like, that's what it was kind of like when I'm like, that was our opinion of it. But I'm really, really hoping that Sony's just like, hey, man, just Marvel, take Spider-Man back, take all the characters back, do what you want with it, because we have no clue what we're doing here.
So Morbius actually made like $160 million globally at the box office. Okay. Madam Web made like 110 or something like that, 120.
Yeah.
Craven made 11 million.
11. Like, yeah.
11.
Oh my god!
And it's,
Did
yeah.
not have a competing, releasing that weekend.
Nothing else
film.
out there right now except for
Wicked and
Wicked's been out for
Gladiator.
like a month. Yeah.
So
I didn't even see ads for it though.
No, they just letting this go out. Like they're just like they know it's a steaming pile. They didn't promote anything. Nothing. They knew what they had.
I did see that there was an article that Sony is looking to sell its remaining Marvel rights back to Disney.
Yeah, it would be fantastic if it happens.
But Disney would be stupid not to buy it.
Oh, Disney will pay a ton for it because if they know that they're losing money constantly on this, and the only real property, they can maybe keep the animated division because I love Spider-Verse. Keep going with that, but yeah, and this is like when I was talking about earlier. It's just like over the last 2 years or whatever, people get pissed off about like, oh, these Marvel movies, they're all blah blah blah, or all these comic movies, there's just so much of it. And it's just like you look at it, Marvel's released like 3 movies over the last 2 years.
Right.
And then Sony's released 2 or 3 movies that have been absolute garbage. I mean, in the last year they've done Craven, Madam Web, and I don't know how the Carnage or the last Venom movie was. I know it didn't do well. It didn't do well at the box office, and it kind of had lukewarm reception. But but you throw all that out there, and like the people that were actually in Madam Web thought they were doing a Marvel movie because yes, those are Marvel characters, but they're not in the MCU, so it's just like easy to see how the normal audiences see this stuff, watch it, and go, "This is crap. I'm tired of all these movies. It's just too much to keep up with." So it's like if we could pare down these crappy ones, and let's just stick to some really good DC content and some really good like Marvel content straight from like the creators, the ones that are putting in the effort, putting in the good directors. Because I mean, if you look at the Sony stuff, what was the good Sony movies that they did with Spider-Man? Frickin' Sam Raimi directed them. It's what it is. Put the right people in place, and you can make good things happen. So, yeah, yeah. I'm hoping the Captain America movie's good. I'm kind of excited about that one too. Not as much as Superman. That movie I just can't wait for now. But Captain America looking hopefully good. I hope so.
Was there a trailer for that, or was it just they just released information on that? I didn't see a trailer.
Captain America's got like 2 or 3 they've got like 2 or 3 trailers out.
You're talking about the
Brave New World.
Yeah.
And the Thunderbolts has got the one trailer that came out.
Right.
So I saw something, I don't know if this is BS or what, whatever, but I saw something about like Captain America like a one that takes place back in time, like some Wakanda story with Captain America and Wakanda.
That might be in the What Ifs coming out really soon. So that might be one of the What If episodes. I think one of them has to do with that because they saw they had Agent Carter in it and some other in like Black. Yeah, so I bet you that's what that is.
Okay, yeah, it's like Hydra.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah.
Dude, they should do a What If Star Wars, man. It'd be sweet.
I don't care about the What If. Like What If comics, like every once in a while.
Was actually the story. It would be good.
Yeah. What if those other 3 movies weren't the real movies and these?
Okay, I'm in. Okay. What? Yeah. Unfortunately, Carrie Fisher's dead though, so that train's long
but
gone,
you know
whatever.
what? Anything can be done, man. You saw that. You guys sent me that weird Kirk thing. Captain Kirk and Spock. Where they were like holding hands at the end. I was like,
I saw that. I'm like, what the hell is this? I gotta show Chuck. All right. We got anything else to talk about, guys?
let me think. No, I don't think so.
All right. Well,
I'm trying to think if I had something.
All right. Well, guess what? You got 2 weeks to think about it and bring your A game starting in 2025.
Yeah, so, all right. So 2 weeks. Yeah. We're gonna be gone for 2 weeks.
You got 2 weeks to watch some Fargo.
Yeah, I got Fargo, and
yeah, I wrote it down.
maybe I'll get some Apple Plus in the meantime too. So I got Fargo. I'll finish Penguin.
So good.
Yeah, I know. And then I got Silo, and then Severance next month. So there's so much that we are truly living in a golden age of television.
Yeah.
And okay, I got one more thing to talk about.
Yeah.
Knight Rider, Kit versus Car. Everybody remember that episode?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Of course, right? Of course. Yeah, Dan?
Yeah.
Kit versus Car, you remember?
Long time ago, but yeah.
Okay, so like Car had like the yellow woo woo and Kit had the red woo woo in the front. Yeah,
well, Car had like silver lining, right? Like, it was
might
like
have,
silver
yeah.
lining.
But like at the end, the finale is the two cars like go up the ramps and smash into each other, and Kit is like not a scratch on him, and Car is just like little pieces of rubble all around the place, which doesn't make any sense. Like why that would have happened that way. Like that's the TV we used to have. And people look fondly upon and like, oh, I wish it was that way. I don't think so. We don't want that. I never want to go back to that unless it's a comedy.
Right.
You know, I don't want to go back to that unless it knows that it's doing that. I like the sophistication of today's television. Because it's not all dark. It's not all dark and dreary and all too serious. We still have Ted Lasso. We still have, What We Do in the Shadows. We still have so much silliness out there. We've got, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We've got a lot of great comedy. There's so much funny stuff out there that it's not all dark and serious. I like where we are right now.
Yeah, you might like the A-Team. There was a guy like 20 years ago I saw like on like back in the days of like AOL and Yahoo was like really big. There was a guy who did like a blog and it was talking about like A-Team counting how many bullets the A-Team actually shot at the bad guys each episode and never hit anything, and how the hell they could ever be called the A-Team when they couldn't shoot anything, and how they would shoot a car, it would blow up, or they'd throw a grenade behind somebody behind a bunch of sandbags.
And everybody be okay.
Every time, those guys would be blown forward in a perfect pike.
Yeah.
And land like right
in front of them, and they'd be like, "We got you." Yeah. Well, it's just like
nobody wants to see that anymore.
Hey, it's like Airwolf, where they show the same helicopter coming over the mountain every single time.
You know what, though? There has been, and I don't know what corner of the internet I hang out in, but there's been a lot of talk about bringing Airwolf back. You got to bring Airwolf back, man.
So I was watching Airwolf not too long ago. We went and pulled up a few episodes, like 2 or 3 episodes of Airwolf. I forgot what it was on, Tubi or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I liked the show back in the day. That show, they mess people up, and that show is exceptionally violent. Like no blood.
Well, a lot of those shows.
Well, A-Team, like Dan said, they miss and they don't shoot anybody. It's pretty family friendly. Still. It doesn't. It's a lot of gunplay, but it's like G.I. Joe, the cartoon gunplay, where they blow up the ship and the guy jumps out of it before it hits it. And but man, Airwolf, they had a dude in a car. He's just driving like a Cadillac Brougham or whatever, just 80s style, like through a desert, and he's got all the money and he's just trying to get away. What does Airwolf do? Comes over the ridge, comes and lights the entire car up, just boom, and then does another sweep and makes sure he's dead. Like they kill so many people in that show, and there's like no they're like, yeah, it's cool. To the point where it's funny, and I was kind of stunned by that, Anyway.
Yeah. Oh man.
My thing, and I know that we want to wrap up, but my thing, and I can't even remember the show it started with, but it was like a cop show where all the cops were like dirty, and my wife loved that show.
Hill Street Blues?
No, Hill Street Blues. I don't remember the cops all being dirty in that show.
I don't remember that being dirty either. But I didn't watch a lot of that.
But it was like a cable show. It wasn't a network show.
The Wire?
It was not The Wire. And they were all dirty, and like I watched it, and I'm like,
The Shield?
The Shield, that was it.
I said it. The Shield.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Yeah, because your microphone sucks.
But I was like, I watched and my wife watched the entire series, and I watched part of it, and I was like, I just don't want to root for anybody. Like, there's nobody in this show that I like, I mean, they had a hell of a cast, a great cast.
There was one guy in the Shield that you liked and you rooted for, the big tall blonde guy, and then they fucking killed him like beginning of season 2.
Yeah, I just and then like Justin was saying, like even in The Walking Dead, like early on they killed characters that were kind of like the moral person, like the father figure or whatever of the group, and you're like, where does it go from here now? I mean, it's just like it just kept getting drearier and drearier.
But it's also when I make that argument, it's a layered thing too, because I think it hurts the story narratively, because you have a hard time latching on to things and grounding 100%. Things. But then at the same time, when you have no like characters that you like anymore, then it's just like,
I think the twist in The Walking Dead was the moral compass all along was Negan.
Yeah, I quit watching it before he showed up.
I know it flips. But
it's not that it flips. He was the good guy the whole time.
I don't know, man.
He killed Glenn.
In a dystopia, right? The guy who can keep everybody safe and fed and safe from the zombies and whatnot, he's the good guy. I mean, I think that's my take. It's kind of like Johnny's the good guy in Karate Kid, right? And really the whole time, Rick's the bad guy. 100%. I have no doubt in my mind.
What about Coral? Where does Coral stand on it?
Which one's Coral?
Coral. It's the way Rick says Carl.
Oh. Oh, God.
Anyway, that was a meme. Well, let's start the music and say goodbye. Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Keep the B-roll rolling.
All right.